Black people, you've made your point. Change in America can't happen without black folks. We need y'all back in the fight. Please and thank you. Aw, do the minorities and white people realize without black Americans, nothing is really going to succeed? But in reality, you don't want black Americans because we see how you guys view us when we try and run for office. You guys only see us as cattle and fodder to your cause. You want us to be on the front lines because you know it can get aggressive, shit will turn up, and you guys don't really care about our voice though. And we have had enough of that. And still seeing how you guys are acting in 2026 with Jasmine Crockett tells us everything. You guys don't want us to be in leadership positions. You guys just want us to be on the front lines. It is no different than the world wars when they put the black people on the front lines. That's all you guys see us, no matter what side, whether it's on the left or on the right. You guys want black people on the front lines and you want them to put their lives on the line. And enough is enough. You need to fix your own problems and fix your own people and have them finally wake up and stop voting against their best interests. But are you going to do that? No, because you want us to do all your fucking ground and dirty work.
Nothing more American than black folks. That's just facts. Built this whole damn country for free. Every brick, every rail, every road laid with blood and sweat that never got a paycheck. And what did they get in return? Chains, whips, red lines, nooses, Jim Crow, COINTELPRO, prisons, knees on necks, bullets in backs. Ain't no other group forced to love a country that hates them like this. That's strength. That's America. 400 years of free labor built the economy. Cotton alone was worth $3 billion in 1860. That is trillions today. Wall Street, founded on slave trade. The White House, built by enslaved hands. Every dollar ever printed got black labor backed into it. But tell a racist that and they act like it's a history opinion. They fought in every war. Crispus Attucks bled first for this country in 1770. Black soldiers saved America in the Civil War. Hell, World War II fought Hitler while getting lynched at home. Vietnam drafted in disproportionate numbers. The thanks they got? GI Bills blocked, housing loans denied, neighborhoods flooded with heroin by their own government. Look it up. And you still got racists yelling, "Go back to Africa," like they ain't the original stolen property. Malcolm X said it best. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock landed on us. Ain't that the truth? Black folks got every right to hate this place, but they stay. They fight. They create. They revolutionize. America wouldn't exist without them, and it damn sure would collapse without them.
Imagine waking up tomorrow and every black and brown person in America is just gone. No warning, no explanation, just poof, gone. The workforce, the culture, the communities, the contributions, just all erased overnight. What would happen to America? Would it thrive, like some racists claim? Or would it collapse under its own weight? Let's talk about it. Black and brown workers make up nearly half of America's essential workforce. Nurses, teachers, farm workers, truck drivers, construction workers, delivery drivers, just gone. The $3 trillion that black and brown consumers contribute to the economy vanished. Small businesses, over 30% of them are minority owned. That means empty storefronts, lost jobs, and neighborhoods turned into ghost towns. We know for a fact that the U.S. relies on immigrant labor and historically oppressed communities to do the work that it doesn't want to acknowledge. Without black and brown people, who's going to keep things running? Who's going to make America cool? Let's be real. American culture is black and brown culture. Hip-hop, gone. Latin music, gone. Fashion, slang, food, art, all gone. The NBA, the NFL, boxing, decimated. No more Serena Williams. No more Patrick Mahomes. No more Jalen Hurts. No more LeBron. No more Messi. No more Usain Bolt. You're watching a golf tournament in silence now. Black culture alone generates billions for corporations. But those same corporations fight against black empowerment. Imagine them trying to profit off America, but they have nothing but bland corporate branding and country music. But we created that too. 1 in 5 doctors, 1 in 4 nurses, 1 in 3 home health aides are black or brown. Who's going to take care of America's aging population? The agricultural industry. Most farm workers are Latino. That means no fresh fruits and vegetables. Fast food, meatpacking, warehouses, sanitation, heavily dependent on black and brown labor. But if they're gone, those industries, they shut down overnight. The same people that America underpays and disrespects are the ones keeping it alive. 40% of the US military is made up of minorities. Without them, America's global power weakens instantly. Law enforcement? Black and Latino officers make up 30% of the police force. Who's going to patrol the communities? America would no longer be a superpower. Because trust me, the rest of the world is watching. America needs the very same people that it mistreats. The US relies on immigrant workers and young black and brown folks to fund programs like Social Security and Medicare. Without them, there aren't enough taxpayers left to support the system. Retirement funds? Drained. White America would realize too late that the same people they spent decades trying to suppress are actually the backbones of this country. America's entire financial system depends on people of color, but it refuses to invest in them. Who's left to blame after we're gone? Without black and brown people, who's going to be the new problem? Can't blame crime on inner cities. Can't complain about taking our jobs. Can't scapegoat immigrants anymore. So who's the new target? Because history shows that when oppressed people disappear, the powerful just find a new enemy. The reality is black and brown people built this country, fund this country, and maintain this country. America doesn't function without its most exploited and underappreciated people. The real question isn't what happens if we leave. The real question is, why is America so dependent on people that it refuses to respect? The fact is, America doesn't deserve black and brown people. But without us, it doesn't exist. All right, let's finish what we started. Because a world without black and brown people, it wouldn't just be dull, it would be dysfunctional. Let me tell you how much we'd take with us. Let's start with transportation. No traffic lights. Garrett Morgan. No modern highways. Latino engineer Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena. He also helped bring color TV. Say goodbye to that too. No gas-powered cars. Mexican inventor Victor Ochoa, he helped design one of the first. I hope you like walking. And let's talk food because your plate, it just got real sad. No potatoes, tomatoes, chocolate, vanilla, corn, all from indigenous Latin America. No coffee. Ethiopians gave y'all that. No sugar or rice. South Asians and Middle Eastern traders, they made this global. And even the way that we cook and season food, African, indigenous, Caribbean, those cultural traditions, they help shape that. You're going to be eating bland and boiled everything. Now let's talk hygiene. The Moors, aka the Black Muslims from North Africa, they brought indoor plumbing, advanced sanitation, and soap to Europe when folks were still throwing waste into the streets. If we never existed, y'all would still be musty. Not opinion, just history. And if we're talking healthcare, just know that modern medicine wouldn't exist without black and brown people. Cataract surgery, Egypt. The first surgical instruments, India. Blood banks, Dr. Charles Drew. No advanced surgeries, no blood transfusions. If you get sick, good luck. And don't even think about electricity. The modern light bulb, it wouldn't exist without Lewis Latimer. Refrigeration, that was Frederick McKinley Jones. Now your food's rotting and your lights are out. And guess what? You're also bored out of your mind. Because there's no hip hop, no jazz, no salsa, reggae, Bollywood, kung fu movies, and rock and roll. And guitars? Black Moors introduced stringed instruments to Europeans. The whole world just got a lot quieter. The concept of zero, algebra, advanced geometry, all trace back to African, Middle Eastern, and South Asian civilizations. Astronomy? Ancient indigenous and African societies. They mapped those stars before Europeans even knew what a planet was.
It's very interesting how white Americans today, they are showing out to the whole world clearly that they can't stand by themselves, they can't work things out by themselves, and they need black Americans to come in for them or to stand up for them, to, you know, give them a back or a shoulder to lean on at this difficult time. The truth of the matter is that maybe nobody really expected a time like this will ever come where white Americans will need black Americans to pick them up when they have fallen. Because white Americans have been living in such a way that they never believed at any given point in life they can slide, or at any given point in life they can fall. They saw themselves as the greatest people that have ever existed in this world. And they were the people that they were never a subject to any correction, to any direction, like to any instruction. They were the ones calling for the shots, the one giving instructions, the one showing the way, the one speaking as we follow. And that one really made a lot of people give respect to people that they never really needed, or they never really, they were not, qualified for the respect. And so, how events are unfolding right now, we are living and existing at a time where if a black person goes or turns right, a white person also wants to turn right. If a black person turns left, the same thing a white person wants to do. We are existing right now at a time when white people want to see what black people will say before they make a decision. Their decision making is built on the black people's decision. Before blacks speak, they can't speak. Not until blacks speak, that is when white Americans will speak right now. That is why right now black Americans are complaining because, like, white Americans are complaining because black Americans are silent. They're like, these people should not be silent. They have to speak, because if they don't speak, we don't know what we're going to do. When they are silent, it is shaking us. It is, weakening us. It is making us weak when these people are silent. They're not supposed to be silent. They're supposed to speak, at least for once. Just say something. What black people? Right now, white Americans, they have been held hostage in their own country by the black people, because they can't move without blacks. They can't go without blacks. If blacks decides to leave today, white Americans will cry, because at some point, black Americans are even feeling like, or black Americans are thinking, like white Americans are feeling like the government is not doing much because blacks are in existence. They know blacks as fighters. They know blacks as saviors, as people who can, do something for their lives to change, do something for them to be different, or for whatever they're going through right now to at least stop. And that is why, the same way you never expected at any given point in life that whites will bow down for blacks, same thing is happening to me. I never expected something of such. I never saw it coming. It never happened before. White Americans want to always see black Americans everywhere they go, in everything they do. They want to see black Americans. They want to be, to be at par. Like, they want to just associate themselves with black Americans, because they're feeling like only blacks can be able to do, to make things right for us. Because, for years, blacks have been saying a lot of things that white people have been assuming. But at the end of the day, whatever blacks used to say, they came to happen. White Americans, they took a very long time to believe that blacks can be great, blacks can do better, blacks can do better than them, blacks can come up with things that make sense. They took a very long time before they understand that thing. Until such a time that they started feeling like, instead of them advancing or progressing the way they used to see themselves doing, they're now moving down or moving backwards, while black people are actually no longer stuck at the same point, but they're now moving forward. Because whatever black Americans were telling the white Americans was the right way to take. If white Americans would have listened to black Americans, maybe they would not be stuck. They would not, they would have been like continued moving forward up to this moment. But arrogance, pride, it didn't give them an opportunity or a chance to listen to what blacks used to say. All they used to see in black community was, people who are uncivilized, people who are less less supreme, people who are uneducated, illiterate, people who are weak, people who can't say anything. That is how they saw black Americans all the times. Until such a time that black Americans are turning up and saying, Trump will mess you people up. But because they are following the manifesto and the sweet words from the MAGA hero, now they're crying. And now the only thing they feel they can do is to listen or to turn to the black people and ask for help from the black people. Otherwise, they're feeling like it can't happen. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be saved. They're not going to be okay. So what is happening right now is black Americans being, like black Americans being talked about. They are a topic everywhere, every day. White Americans are talking about them. That is what is happening. And so whatever blacks will say is what whites will do. Whites crying and pleading for black Americans to come and help them to protest, to come and help them do some many other things. It's crazy. It is something I never saw it coming personally, myself. It's really crazy. It's really crazy. And I've told you, there is nothing that has changed. White Americans have always relied on black Americans. Even their leaders, their governments, they have always relied on black people in the whole world. The wealth they have is coming from Africa. Many things they're depending on right now to boost their economy, to make their economy stand, to get the money they're getting is coming from African countries. Right now, if those countries decide to leave African countries alone, they're going to find themselves in a very big trouble. They can't actually get themselves out of the problems that they're in if they cannot really, if they cannot really actually listen, or if they cannot, like if they stand by themselves and decide to do things by themselves, it's going to be very difficult on their side. So what I'm saying right now is that blacks are really becoming phenomenal, and they have always been. It's only that people have not wanted to accept that fact. But the truth of the matter is that blacks have always been phenomenal, and today we are seeing it. Take a look.
Physics. The foundations of motion and engineering, they came from Arabic and African scholars, long before Newton showed up. Computers, you remember Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena? The color monitor. Poof. And here's the thing that stings. Y'all aren't surprised by any of this. You always knew. That's why you built entire economies off of stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen inventions. Thomas Edison gets credit for the light bulb, right? But Lewis Latimer made it work. Elvis Presley became the king of rock and roll by mimicking black musicians. And when we did build our own wealth and communities, they were burned down. Tulsa, Rosewood, Wilmington. It'd be more than a country without culture and the relationships that you've built. No advanced medicine, no modern transportation, no working electricity, no technological advancements, no cultural influence, no innovation. What would be left if we took away everything that we gave you? Because from where I'm standing, not a damn thing.
All right, racists, we're going to address this again since the inferior people are struggling. Black Americans are the only indigenous people on this land. Melanated people are the only people around the world who are indigenous on every land, no matter their ethnic group. Uncivilized lands all have the same genetic connection, melanated skin with varying shades of brown. And those groups are not connected to Africa, just like Black Americans aren't connected to Africans ethnically. The actual American Indian, known as the Black Americans, are the ethnic ethnic group of North America, not descendants of Africans. Let's dismantle the greatest public relations fraud ever committed, the desperate multiracial campaign to erase the true indigenous Black American from this land. There is a coordinated effort, a relentless lie, designed to make Black Americans believe they are a guest in someone else's house. But the unchangeable archaeological and historical truth is that Black Americans are the foundation. They were here first. And by here, I mean the world. Every country. Every strip of land. And they built the civilization that we are all destroying. The lie about Africa is to confuse and mislead so that the theft can keep going on. Black Americans weren't even considered African American until 1988 by Jesse Jackson, a known Cherokee Indian. So they'll pay a Black American leader to lie and sell out, while classifying himself correctly despite the lie. If Black Americans came from Africa by boat in the 1600s, America didn't figure this out until 1988? And this isn't just a white lie. This is a lie woven by $5 pretendians, by secret treaties between immigrant groups, by decades of policy and propaganda all aimed at one single goal, convincing the world that the original people of this soil simply do not exist. They have every story in the world about the false history. And then you ask for ship manifest and evidence of ships, and then suddenly they can't produce them. But they could show you evidence of the Titanic hundreds of feet under the ocean. They won't even show you the entirety of the Titanic under the water. Only a corner of this ship. They still parse that history. They have reclassified the true indigenous people, renamed you, and redrawn maps around you, hoping you would forget the land your spirit is made from. Now they deploy their little native influencers online, armed with fraudulent petitions and digital picket signs, begging platforms to remove you from your own story. They're performing a pathetic pantomime of indigeneity. If you are indigenous, why would you need outside help? What are they protecting? If you're truly indigenous Native Americans, how could someone take that from you? Why the sudden panic? Every post they make, every petition they circulate is an admission. You've been caught, and now history will be made. Every other race are the visitors. It is time, Black Americans. Time for you to start acting like the host in your home, because all of this is yours. It is time you start acting like the host.
So, since there's so many of y'all on here talking about go back to Africa, you should go, blah, 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 I decided to ask ChatGPT, Chat, what would happen if all Black Americans left the U.S. and returned to Africa? And one thing ChatGPT do not do is lie, baby. So this is what ChatGPT said. This is food for thought for everybody who's saying go back to Africa. So first, Black Americans make up 14% of the U.S. population and contribute significantly to healthcare, education, sports, entertainment, government. And a sudden departure would create significant labor shortages. That's one. Two, Black Americans contribute over $1.7 trillion annually to the U.S. economy. A departure like that would create a sudden loss of economic power. 3, Black-owned businesses which employ millions of Americans would shut down or relocate, shifting the wealth to whatever country all of us went to. Number 4. Now this one gonna really piss you off. This one gonna piss you off. Loss of cultural influence. Black Americans, and I quote, Black Americans have shaped U.S. culture through jazz, hip-hop, and blues, fashion, language, and sports. Their departure would significantly alter America's cultural identity. Here's where it gets good again. A decline in innovation. Blacks foster creativity and innovation. The loss of racial diversity could slow technological advances. See, y'all ancestors ain't tell y'all how sick y'all was. See, y'all before y'all found us, y'all was fighting each other. See, ain't nobody passed that information on to y'all. Y'all don't know about all that. See, our people passed information on. Y'all people didn't. Y'all wanted to be lost in translation, but we know. We know.
So the all-white town of Arkansas has failed. Oh, we found a fork in the kitchen. Like, we already knew this was going to happen. They didn't want to move there. They just wanted people to be mad about them moving there. And I was hoping it worked out. I was hoping the whole thing worked out for them so they could all move there. Listen, when they said, hey, let's play some music for you guys, and had to play the banjo. When they said, hey, let's have some food, and it looked like they were eating stale bread, I knew it was over. I knew it was over. I'm gonna tell you the truth. A lot of Caucasians in America love the idea of separating themselves, but they don't love the actual result of it. They don't realize that the wealth that was built and generated within white America was not through their own fruition, but on the backs and through the blood of other groups of people, Native Americans, Black Americans, and XYZ, everything in between. The agriculture built on the backs of natives, Latinos, and Black people. The infrastructure also built by free labor and or cheap labor. There are grants and money received given by the government, the true handout kings. And they don't actually realize every single place that has been all white in history, they don't really realize the fact that it has been destroyed also by them. Before they found other people to oppress and attack, to be honest, all Europeans used to do was just attack each other and be nasty and vile to each other.